4th of July. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth, justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. You can't stop us now. We're on our way. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Anthony Moodmaster Garcia?
Good, thank you very much. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July to you. And Joseph, I'm glad to see you were able to navigate the freeways this morning without any issue. It's a good thing. Well, folks, we had another birthday for America. It's a good thing. Everybody around the world doesn't acknowledge their appreciation necessarily, but everybody around the world to some extent is benefiting from the great American way. Some of them are trying to be like us, and hopefully they mean the good parts. We, just like everybody else, have good parts and bad parts, or parts that some of us like and parts that some of us don't like. I like the whole pie. It's the whole pie. You know, sometimes you have to have the negative in order to understand the positive. We have to have night to have day. I'm sorry, what, you can't hear Mr. Garcia?
No,
Well, that's over here.
That's happening here.
Yeah, Mr. Garcia's having.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We definitely can hear you now. But folks, we hope everybody had not only a great 4th of July, but a safe 4th of July. This was one of the, you hear the stories about animals not being able to really appreciate all of those firecrackers and cherry bombs and explosions that take place. Well, my dog Sherman yesterday, at first I thought he was just wanting a little extra love or something, because he was following me around everywhere, and then it hit me. I said, well, this is what everybody's talking about with the animals, that they shouldn't be subject to all of this noise, all of this screaming and explosions and stuff. And my dog Sherman was trying to be my super best friend yesterday. I hope your pets were able to not be assaulted by the celebration and able to understand that. Well, they couldn't understand, but a little softness on your part helped make it better, I'm sure. We still have the echo, folks, of the Confederate flag, especially in light of how much we were celebrating the American flag yesterday. Once again, I'm concerned that we remember that as America we have constant growth, and that growth should be replacing some of the painful things. And as we celebrate the 4th of July, celebrate the American flag, we also need to celebrate the diversity of America and the responsibility that comes along with that diversity. We have to remember, folks, that getting along with each other is not just a feel-good kumbaya thing. It also deals with our economy. It deals with the quality of life. It deals with the imagery that we project. And the fact is, God made everybody that's here. Well, some of you don't regard that as a fact, but the fact is that everybody's here. And if everybody's here, that means everybody should have a point of respect delivered to them, and everybody should be participating at a respectful level. So everything has cause and effect. You can't just do things without having, something come back to you. So celebrate. Understand that everybody's here's got a right to be here, and that we have a right to expect for certain good things to happen. One of the good things that we know will be happening is that for you people who like jazz and great music here in the Inland Empire, Miss Barbara Morrison will be coming to the Inland Empire on August 15th. She'll be performing out at 777 Allen Street in the city of San Bernardino, freeway close, right off of the Waterman exit. She'll be bringing her 18-piece band, and folks, we're trying to really upgrade the kinds of activities that we have here in the Berdoo, and that will be one of the examples of that. August 15th, give us a call at 909-384-8131. make your reservation. We're putting the show together. It appears that she'll be joined by the Latin Society, as well as one other surprise guest that we are looking forward to bringing. So you will call, and next week I'll be able to announce the full lineup and your full expectations on that. We also want to announce that on August 6th, 7th, and 8th will be the African Global Economic Development Summit taking place at the University of Southern California. This is an opportunity for everyone to find out more about how to do business in Africa, whom you can do that business with, and actually there will be some contracts and subcontracts available on the table that during that summit. There will be some of you who are able to come and actually walk away from that summit with not just contacts and a new view on what can take place for you, or what if you were to participate in that growing economy that's taking place in Africa, but actually have some contract or a contract. You're going to be dealing with some of the 7 top producing countries on the planet, 7 of the top 20. We'll be able to talk about some of those. I think Zambia is on that list. I know Uganda's on that list. I know Nigeria is on that list. Ghana is on that list. These are countries that will be represented at the Global Summit with officials from their country, as well as people who are able to tell you some specific things that you might be able to get into. Agribusiness. There's farming, fishing, poultry, mining, aerospace, waste management, construction, all types of businesses, all types of activities that you will be able to get yourself involved in. So you can sign up for that. Go to AGED Summit.com. That's for African Global Economic Development Summit.com, and put yourself in a position to do some business with Africa. A good thing, money that can be made, and certainly good relationships start that whole process. You'll be able to start that process with some good relationships, good contacts, and once again, leapfrog over much of the time needed to create that relationship by joining us at University of Southern California on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of August for the African Global Economic Development Summit. And I see we have Mr. Evans joining us this morning. Mr. Evans, how was your 4th of July?
Good morning.
Good morning. How was your 4th of July, Mr. Evans?
Oh, terrific.
Terrific. I'm not getting you directly in here on my earphones, but maybe that's my fault here. We'll get another set of phones. But what was so good about your 4th of July? Was it because you participated in a big parade, went out to a big picnic, or was it because you were able to stay home and enjoy yourself and sit around and watch TV and do nothing? What was your 4th like?
Well, it's not the usual terrific. This is the type of terrific that you often talk about, that you actually look forward to when the elephant takes some weight off of your foot. Because this week, my company was hit with an elephant. And where I'm thinking, well, I'm going to plan to have a nice 4th of July weekend and do this, that, and the other, this got in the way in a huge manner. So everything had to shift, and in the end, there's some relief. So, like I said, terrific. It's just a wonderful feeling when that elephant decides to move on. And I've also had a chance to reflect, think about what has happened up to this time, and also to take some time to think about the country that I live in, and what is going on here, what has gone on in the past, and what it tells us about what we can expect to come. We faced a lot of stuff, to make a long story short, and America has the way of surprising everybody.
Everybody.
By finding solutions and coming up with things that no one really expected, because in the past, when America's been written off or shortchanged, that has happened repeatedly, and it's due to American creativity.
Now,
to come up with something, to make something out of nothing, as they would So I was saying earlier today, he will make a way out of no way. Well, America has turned that into something tangible.
Yeah, that's.
So I reflected on all of that in the celebration of the 4th of July, and it reminded me of one thing I'd like to close with. That in the Declaration of Independence, the people writing it were talking to people that they had, say, grown up with or hung out with in England, in a way of speaking. They're saying, look, you and I are the same people. And their statement, all are created equal, was to make this clear to the people at home. That just because you're born to this family or that family doesn't make you better than us here. We're all the same. And with that understanding, promoted a new understanding.
So you feel that, yes, with the Declaration of Independence, though we wrote it in America, we were speaking to England?
Exactly. We voted to be independent, but through this we confirmed that we were actually the same as the people that we were breaking away from. In fact, that was the justification for the break. You have no inherent right to govern me, and we're the same. So I'm simply going to go my way.
Now,
and of course, because you haven't been doing your part, you haven't been
right. Because we don't want to underplay the importance of the T-tax and taxation with or without representation.
Oh, and 100 other indignities that people have suffered. Right. It's a long story. People sitting there saying we need this and we need that, and just taking it from another group with no thought as to the consequences to the other group.
Representation.
And historically, everybody who's done that, it's always backfired for them. You know, Hitler could have won Russia and the Ukraine if he just had a different attitude about the people. They wanted a new leader. But he went in and said, oh, but you're inferior people, and played that out all the way. So what did the British do here? They set up the colonies, but they always reminded them, you're less than me, you're inferior people. They could have embraced them, but they didn't, and look how it worked out. So my point here is that I reflected about the formation of the country and then the opportunity that we have going forward. We face a lot of problems, but I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised at how this does move forward.
Well, we're going to take a short break, Leonard, and when we come back, we'll get a chance to continue our applause for the fact that we've got our feet placed firmly on the ground called United States of America. And from this point in position, we have advantage, responsibility, and great need to take advantage of both. We'll be right back after this very short break. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth, justice with the right information to help improve the situation. Will you just you get what you need.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking
Which reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
For more local radio every day, Tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice, and just discovered something more that once we put the Mood Master into a direct hookup. Oh, yeah, listen to him. We can hear him really nice.
So much better this week.
Oh, listen to that man. Okay, great. Hey, Mood Master, kick it off for. Do it up there. Let folks know why I'm paying you $5,000 an hour. Let's see.
That's right.
Anthony Garcia. This guy's been around the world playing that bass. I'm glad that he's settled down here in the Inland Empire and graced us with his ability to play.
Indeed, I can tell you it sounds a lot better already.
It sounds a lot better, yeah, definitely. So, Miss Alexis Reeves, how was your 4th of July?
It was really fun.
I understand you were in a parade yesterday.
Yes, I was in the Redlands Parade with Assemblyman Steinnorth.
And did you effect the proper wave there, with the little wrist thing there?
Yes, I always have to have my princess wave.
Okay, very good.
Beauty queen wave.
Yeah, that's really good. And Mr. Lilly, how was your 4th of July?
It was always, as always, it was enlightening, relaxing, and empowering.
One of the things I remembered yesterday about the difference between the 4th of July and, say, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's the food.
That's right.
With Thanksgiving and Christmas, you get real food.
Yeah.
And with 4th of July and Labor Day, you are supposed to get indigestion.
That's right.
Hot dogs, my goodness, hot dogs and links and barbecue ribs. And
we had some jambalaya, though.
You had some jambalaya.
We had some real food, too, though.
Oh,
but we did have the hamburgers and hot dogs.
Maybe there was some real food at where I was, too, and I just didn't see it. I don't know. But I did the hot dogs and the
And Wallace, it's good for those of us who sell real food, because they were buying up my watermelons like it was going out of style.
Really?
That was a good thing.
Okay, now as we speak of watermelon, I'm going to give a secret out. The best way to have watermelon is to juice it.
Yes, sir.
Put it in the freezer and make a smoothie, like an icy out of it, and you just cannot get enough.
I got a little twist for you. If you're ever hosting a party, you can make a watermelon cake.
Okay.
What you do is you cut the top off, cut the bottom off so they're both flat.
Yeah.
Scoop out the insides.
Right.
Put one of those little taps from the 99-cent store on it.
Okay.
Take the insides, put it in the blender, mix it with whatever you like, alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Pour it back in. Put the cap back on, and then you can tap into it, fill up your drinks and all that kind of stuff with the watermelon puree flavored with whatever your favorite flavorings might be.
Yeah.
And it's a big hit at the parties, man.
Well, I don't know if it's your lack of ability to describe it or lack of my ability to visualize it now, but I need to see this. Is it possibly possible? No, not a picture.
Okay. A mind's eye.
Is it possible that
you need to have it?
We could put together a little
life.
watermelon thing this afternoon so you can show me I could be educated.
Wallace,
on that.
I brought you and everybody else here. I have watermelons in the back of my truck right now.
Excellent. Well, that leads us into a couple of conversations. One, I just spoke a little bit about the African Global Economic Development Summit and how important that is coming up.
Absolutely.
And you are now describing the fact that you are involved with agriculture again.
Yes.
Saying it again because we are aware of that. What agriculture-wise would you suggest that people think about doing in terms of trade with Africa?
Well, you have several things. The inputs for agriculture are sorely needed. If you have a way of supplying fertilizer or agricultural
not just
equipment.
verbal fertilizer, folks. I realize that many of you think that you could talk something into growing, many of our presidential candidates now are going to demonstrate their ability to deliver verbal fertilizer, but we're not talking about that kind, are we?
No, sir. I mean, of course, plants are spiritual. You have to talk them up. That's part of the process of getting a healthy plant going. But we're talking about that good old nitrogen, that phosphorus, that potassium, the things that the plant needs chemically in order to come up. They have a shortage of that in Africa, all over Africa. They need fertilizer. They also need the implements for doing modernized, mechanized farming so that they can increase productivity. So that's your tractors, your discs, your combines, all those kinds of things. They need modern irrigation methods. So that also gets into contracting for training and expertise on how to actually apply the irrigation method, not just the irrigation equipment. Then you're talking about seed stocks. Africa is being overrun by the Monsantos of the world and the Cargills and the ConAgras, selling them these types of seeds that don't replicate. Once you grow it once, the seeds that come out of the plant are not viable. They don't reproduce any new plants. So you have to buy another set of seeds.
We should probably have a great, I'm not saying a whole show, but we should probably at some point spend a lot of time on the importance of the Monsanto.
We got to change that paradigm
because we have a large company that has tremendous money to back up what their claims of an intellectual property, which is their seeding, and it can cause a great problem now. According to Monsanto, it creates a great opportunity, but for whom? No. That gets to be the issue. But you did say something about the issue of fertilizer and using that as an example. Mr. Evans.
Yes,
you're a businessman. Now, if you heard that someone, or you just did, hear that quantities of fertilizer are needed in a certain place. Now,
got an idea.
Now, you got an idea. That gives you an idea, doesn't it?
There are carp, all these fish coming trying to get down the Illinois River. You've probably seen the news reports where the guy's in the boat and all these fish are jumping through the air and hitting him and stuff like that. Well, it turns out...
And these are undesirable fish, right?
Undesirable fish because they destroy the ecosystem. They're not native. They're an invasive species.
And
so people have wondered what to do with them. Well, what if you turn them into a business? You caught them all because I thought about the Indians and how they would put a fish in the ground under the seed. And then they would grow the corn. They use the fish for fertilizer. Well, get all the fish, grind them up, ship them to Africa, sell them for fertilizer. There's a business right there. And
we might be able to get the state of Illinois to help to pay you to catch those
guys
fish.
Already turning them into food. They're trying to get people interested in eating them because they got
so many of them.
But that's another idea. Fertilizer fits in with that. What Mr. Lilly said about the fact that the seeds produced by the plant will not grow another plant suggests that the food value is going down because you're not eating things that are alive.
Correct.
The seed that's in there is dead. You're not getting that living energy. There's a whole story about that.
Yes, sir.
So the food it fills you up, but it has no food value. And they've talked about this since, I don't know, the 20s, the 30s, was the idea behind vitamin supplementation. Because you needed someplace to get the things that were supposed to be in food that were absent because some of these processes Mr. Lilly's talking about, that, by the way, have been going on a long time.
Yes, sir.
And with the importance of food, most of us think that it's supposed to simply taste good as it goes in. It goes through our mouth, and if it tastes good, that means it's okay. If it fills us up, that becomes the next thing. Well, it tasted good, it filled me up, it must be okay. I was listening to an analysis of body parts a couple of days ago, and this man was talking about the general cell structure. And he pointed out that within each cell, 100 of whom could sit on the point of a needle, each of those cells has about 5 to 6 feet of DNA messaging inside of it.
Incredible.
That's just amazing to think about, something that small being able to have that much material in it, and realizing that we've got, I can't even think about counting how many cells that you have in your body. And this is what we have to feed. Our blood has to get to that cell with the proper amount of nourishment, oxygen, water, and all of the other things that we need to nourish
and remove. the waste.
I'll tell you, as I do that, I just wonder if that mac and cheese is doing the job.
Well, it's not, Wallace.
That's what I mean about.
Well, that's what I mean. It tastes good. It's certainly filling me up, but it
not
seems
nourishing
like
you.
it's probably clogging my blood.
What it's doing is it's altering your pH. If you don't have a pH that's right around just slightly alkaline, then what happens is your blood cells clump, your red blood cells clump. Capillaries are one blood cell thick, meaning if you've got clumped blood cells, that the blood cannot get through the capillaries, which is the smallest size of a blood vessel that gets to the cellular level. Therefore, you're not nourishing those cells and removing the waste, as Leonard just said. Long and short, you're dying a slow death. And it
Well,
creates
that's
disease.
what we're all doing. See, and some people are
No,
cool with the idea.
no,
Well, if
no,
it's
no, no.
slow enough, will it last 30 years?
No,
or?
it's degenerative, which means you suffer before you die.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Well, folks, there's
And you can enhance this process.
Okay, so
just
this
by
big
drinking
Liberty
enough
Day
water.
we celebrated yesterday probably
Moderation
caused
is the key.
many of us to shorten our lives. That's a doggone shame.
Nah,
My goodness.
my
I feel even worse about those
my
hot dogs
jambalaya
now.
had real food in it.
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't buy it from the store.
Okay, we're going to have to take today to make up for yesterday. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get those cells to get rid of what we had yesterday and make room for today. We're going to start off by getting rid of this segment, take a short break, and here's some very important messages. And when we come back, we're going to be moving toward brand new. What
Yes,
can
sir.
we do to become
And
brand
food
new?
Must, must pass two tests. One coming, the other going.
Very,
Yes, sir.
very good. Very good. This is Empire Talks Back. I'll be right back after this short break.
Now that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Let me tell you, damn guys ain't dumb.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking
Which
you...
reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
And he's up there. What's that? Hawaiian noises. He's banging on the bongos like a chimpanzee.
Empire Talks Back. We're here. I'm Wallace Allen. I've got Mr. Jamal Lilly to my left, Miss Alexis Reeves to my right, Mr. Leonard Evans on the phone, and the Mood Master had a little, and he'll be right back. And Joel's here with Joe. No, that's okay. You don't have to play the bass. We're good. We closed that last segment out talking about the great diet that we are not sharing. we use our 4th of July to basically move ourselves 10 steps closer to the grave with the kind of food that we eat during that time. We must remember, as we're talking about fertilizer, providing the type of financial food or export food for Africa that'll make money for us. But we talked about food. We mentioned seeds. Monsanto came up. We ended up talking about dead seeds, and then we moved right over into talking about why we need live food in our body.
Wallace, dig what just came out of the break. The segment that we ended in, the segment we're started out with "Money for Nothing" by Dire Straits. What's the lyric in that song? We got to move these microwave ovens.
Okay.
We got to move these color TV. See, commerce.
Right.
You got to keep. You don't need another one, but we're gonna sell you another one. You're gonna buy another one because we told you need it.
You need another one, and plus the one we sold you in the first place, we fixed it so it wouldn't last too long, and it's already lasted too long.
Listen to the name of the band, Dire Straits. Okay, absolutely. They're selling you a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot of messages with their little package. Okay, but we'll leave that to the side.
Yeah, Joe, you do get credit for that.
Big
it's
credit.
Not quite like
That's
wiping.
A big up, man.
You know, that is a credit. You do get credit for that.
That was quite apropos. Yeah. I guess that's the right way to say it. But anyway, the point is, you're talking about why would they do this? You know it's not nourishing your body, right, but it's creating more commerce. Because you're going to get sick, you're going to have to go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah.
And it tastes good from my end.
It tastes good. You're going to keep on buying it. Mm-hmm. It's not nourishing you, so you're going to keep being hungry. You're going to buy more, eat more, et cetera, et cetera. And diseases of excess are the number one diseases in America. So what happens when you change the paradigm? You give a real piece of nourishment to the land in Africa, and it gives you a real piece of nourishment back that you can import duty-free now. Mm-hmm. And undersell your competition, offsetting the cost of having to import it from across the Atlantic. Because number one, you sold the products that they need to use to grow the food, and so you made money there with all kinds of incentives from, say, Exim Bank or from USTDA, Trade Development Authority, or agency rather, or you can get your insurance from MEGA, which is Investment Guarantee Insurance, which offsets all your political risk. So if the Civil War blows up the country, you don't lose, so on and so forth. That's one of the main fears that they have about, investing in Africa commonly is, well, what if my money gets caught up in some sort of social strife or military coup and all this kind of thing? But don't worry about it.
Nationalize the bank.
Yeah, get yourself some MEGA insurance. It's Multilateral Investment Guarantee Authority.
So
these things are all offsetting your risk.
Okay.
Now you're exporting your fertilizer, your farming equipment, what have you, your seeds, whatever, to Africa. So you made that money. Now they've grown whatever they've grown with it. Now you can facilitate the importation of that. You don't pay duties on it, so you undersell your competition, and you're selling true food to the people right back here in the United States.
Okay, since we're talking about this, let's go back and make it a little easier for my friend Leroy here.
Okay.
All right. We're not talking about going to Lowe's and buying 50 packs of...
No, sir.
Okay. So if we're talking about fulfilling it or getting an order for fertilizer to deliver to Africa, and Africa is not one country,
right.
It's certainly not one city. So let's name a country in Africa that we would...
let's say, just for ease of reference, let's say you're going to Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria, okay, which is a port city.
Correct, right on the west coast of Africa.
And
set up to receive all sorts of goods and services by air or sea.
Okay, so now Mr. Evans has heard about the fact that they need some fertilizer. He's wanting to determine, now what's the minimum order that I could deliver and make some money? So that I could figure out, how can I scale this thing to where I can really feel comfortable about it. So he needs to find a source of fertilizer.
Correct.
About how much fertilizer in order to really make an impact or really make some money. Do you have any idea? Do we need to call? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you would need to be dealing with metric tons of fertilizer.
Okay.
So you would say you could start out with a shipment of, say, 10, 15, 20 metric tons.
Okay.
Fill up a container.
Okay, we could probably get that out of a Rush Limbaugh podcast. I couldn't.
Well, what you have here in California, you have some fertilizer companies that wish they could do business overseas and increase their bottom line, but they don't know how. Therefore, if you come to the summit armed with the information on how to facilitate the increase in their bottom line.
Did you hear Mr. Evans say,
I heard it.
Yeah, which means I just got some information that the supplier doesn't have?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't want to plug anybody.
Somebody who could sell something, but they don't know how.
Exactly.
Well, see,
if you come armed with the information, and I'll tell you, the people who need the fertilizer, the people who can facilitate the contracts, the people who can ensure your investment, the banks that can provide you with the bank guarantees, all will be there at the summit.
All you need to know.
All you have to do is know where to get the fertilizer from.
And I was just kidding about the Rush Limbaugh podcast. You can't get it there. I've already secured those. So, okay, so.
But all the information in one place that answers a lot of questions that people have about, well, why isn't somebody else doing this?
Because
there are a lot of things that pop up. What about this, that, and the other? This conference will have the answers to why other people aren't doing it and how you can do it. Most of them aren't doing it because they don't realize that these things that cause all this uncertainty have been covered.
Right.
And that there's an incentive by the government to make this happen. Because what Mr. Lilly is pointing out here is that major companies are going to sell a lot of equipment and supplies.
Correct.
Because of the agricultural effort. So they'll help you to make this happen. And like you said, no tariffs. You can undersell the competition. Where's the benefit, everybody would say? It's in the overall business, the commerce.
Correct.
That comes to America. That's when you see that bigger equation. And understanding that will be part of this conference to help everybody be clear on this and how these problems are solved and how, most importantly, an individual can take advantage of the many opportunities that exist now.
And we're talking about an individual that has missed the boat and missed the train on many other opportunities. When I say that, I mean it can be you. It can be any listener out there. You don't have to have $1 million stashed away. You don't have to have a great corporation set up behind you at this point. What you need to do is come and find out. Well, I don't know.
Let me point something out.
Ahead.
The idea
One thing very quickly.
Sure.
This is for the person that believes, despite what's happened to them in the past, that better things are to come.
Indeed. Purchase orders have tremendous value. You go to the summit, and I've seen this happen. You find somebody that needs a product or a service or whatever. They give you a purchase order once you prove to them that you have this product or service. You can take that purchase order to the right bank if you have a banking relationship and turn it into either a standby letter of credit or a bank guarantee, depending on what side of the Atlantic you're operating on. And with that document, you don't even need any money. You can secure whatever your supplies are or whatever your services are, facilitate the delivery of those goods and services to the person who's purchasing them, and then get paid upon delivery in a totally secure transaction that didn't cost you anything but time on the phone and maybe a few trips up to the place to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do to get your supplies on that container to ship out to Africa.
And that can begin, the second phase of that can begin at the Aged Summit.
Correct. Because
the first phase has to begin in your brain. That
right,
says,
you got to
I want to be there. I want to figure out what advantage do I have in my life that will give me a head start on any one of the types of products that is there going to be a list of products that people...
There's going to be a roster of people with projects that are either in need of funding for the project itself or are in need of vendors. And those people are going to have an opportunity to present their various projects or say what it is they need in terms of vendors in order to facilitate the completion of the projects.
Now, I do know that Mr. Abraham Dokur will be there.
Yes.
And Abraham is a gentleman that has contacts for a variety of things that people are calling him about right now on an ongoing basis. And you might want to be coming to the event to meet Mr. Abraham. He's talking about things ranging from technology and education to water purification, food supply. The very same thing that we're saying here is that the opportunity's there. It's existing every day, and we're here in America, the strongest and most resource-heavy place on the planet, not because all the resources are here, but because all of the information and all of the the goodwill.
The ingenuity too, man. Like Leonard was saying, the ability to make something out of nothing. They really love and respect that in Africa. They want things done to an American standard. That's what they always talk about. And what they mean by that is picking up on that Dire Straits song, Money for Nothing. They want a way of keeping commerce going in a way that facilitates life instead of facilitating dependency and death.
Self-sustainability.
They see the benefit of being self-sustained, and they want to emulate a model that does that. And they look at America as the harbinger of success.
I think they're looking at the right spot because
way.
We wake up every day with a bunch of energy, and most of it is to forget yesterday, make today better so that tomorrow can be a day that I might be able to not have to work. Anyway, we're going to work on it.
Or not work so hard.
Not work so hard. Well, work counting my money. That's about the hardest thing. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, and we've got a future, and that future includes you. And part of that is come back right after this break so that we can plan it together on the planet that we are together in.
Yes, sir.
Be right back.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Before I answer your question, have you signed up for Medi-Cal?
Baby, I already told you, all I need is your love to cover me.
And that may be true. But unfortunately, my love doesn't cover hospitalization, substance use disorder services, lab and prescription costs, contraceptives, annual checkups, maternity and newborn care, chronic disease management.
You do realize that I am down on one knee asking you...
Which reminds me, mental health is also covered.
Cool, I get it. Just know that you're never gonna find another man like me.
That may be true. But there are over 11 million Californians already covered through Medi-Cal.
So you're saying if I enroll, your answer is yes?
There's only one way for you to find out.
This has been another episode of Medi-Cal Can. Tune in next time when Rachel makes a startling discovery.
What do you mean I have to renew my Medi-Cal every year?
Get covered. Your well-being within reach.
Kcaa, where every day is a great day. Kcaa, Loma Linda.
Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We're on the case for truth and justice, and we wouldn't mind making a little money on the way. So we're talking to you about the African Global Economic Development Summit scheduled for August 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I have a young lady here on her way to college. I don't want her to get distracted by millions and millions of dollars or any of that thing, but I would like for her to put herself in a position to earn millions and millions of dollars. So, Miss Alexis, as we're sitting here talking about Africa and Africa as a place for us to do business, what does that sound like, and what kind of sense does that make to you as a high school graduate getting ready to go away to college to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Temple University? I know that your goals and interests are in international trade and business. What does this sound like to you?
It actually is really intriguing to me. Like, I picked up the card about investing in the international business with USA and Africa and the Import Export and Trading Card, and it actually seems like really interesting to me. I would be interested in doing something like that just because when you grow up and you look at the history books, you always see Africa as like a third world country, and it's because of all the resources that have been taken out of it and all the things that have been stripped from Africa. So if we could go in Africa and give them some of those things back and help them really develop their nation, then their nation could be just as strong as any other nation. And I think that's really what America is. We're a helping country more than like a patrol country takeover dictatorship
And with you moving into your positions of responsibility, I expect that you will fight hard to keep that imagery and make it happen. And you're right, as we talk about Africa, 7 of the 20 largest or fastest growing economies are taking place in 7 different countries in Africa. And in Africa, we're talking about some 53 countries?
Yes.
So many, 53 independent nations representing live in Africa, the continent. And we will have 7 of the 7 fastest growing. I think we have all 7 represented at the age.
They'll all be there.
Yeah, they will all be there. So that's a tremendous opportunity. Let me ask you this, Miss Alexis. As you continue and go about going to school, and with international trade is something that you're interested in, would it not be interesting to you to have access to opportunities to really work on doing trade while you're learning and getting your degree in school?
Yes, I was actually going to ask if I could go to the summit just to see kind of what goes on there. And so
Absolutely.
when I start into college and I take marketing classes and I take all the classes that I need, I'll kind of already have like a real life experience. So I'll kind of know what to actually do when I'm put in situations like that. And it makes me a more marketable person as well. And a lot of my peers are already interested in Africa and doing things in Africa, and we tweet about it all the time. And so I think this generation is way involved in developing Africa and sort of turning Africa into an amazing place because it is somewhere where a lot of us call our home.
Now, see if we could find a way to create a circumstance for Alexis and some other students to get in the fertilizer business, because we're not talking about something that you have to put a lot of money in. It seems like brain power is what the number one requirement is here. Desire to do something, make something out of nothing. We will definitely. When do you go to school?
August 22nd.
Okay, so yeah, you will definitely be there August 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yes.
And we're going to see if we can't put you together.
Let me add one thing.
You could add 2 or 3, Leonard. Go ahead.
Okay. For the young lady and her friends that are
Alexis.
pursuing marketing, I mean, this is great evidence.
You'll want to use her name, Leonard, Alexis, because as she gets rich and super powerful, we want to be sure that we're in a first name basis, right?
No doubt.
Okay. It occurs to me that when you think about Africa as a whole, what needs to take place, very much like what happened in America, building a proper road system.
Yes.
Now you can move commerce in and out of all the areas. The rivers in Africa turn out to be very difficult to navigate, and they're just because of rapids and rocks and falls and things like this, unlike America, which could take advantage of her rivers. So the need for roads and bridges and ultimately railroads all throughout the continent, and the huge advantages that this will bring in uniting the country.
Though all of those things that you mentioned,
these are the things that are going to be happening. So
all of those things that you mentioned, Leonard, are actual contract projects that will be presented at the conference, at the summit. There's a tremendous highway system moving from Tanzania down to Mozambique.
There's a transatlantic rail system.
And railroads are being restored and re-gauged to be compatible.
So
a lot of this is going on now in Africa.
Rail, highway, airports, river dredging, all of that is, all of those are indeed projects that people are working on now, and some of which will be available to secure contracting at the aged summit scheduled for August 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And let's be clear, we're not just talking about infrastructure development, which, yes, is very, very important and is integral to everything else that could happen in Africa. But we're also talking about high-tech opportunities. We just learned the other day that Global Green has been granted the concession for that satellite that's going to cover West Africa, and they're looking for appropriate contracting opportunities or contractors that can assist them in fulfilling that concession. So you're talking now about companies that have the ability to link up with these geosynchronous satellites that are now going to be providing ICT services.
So they're big financial opportunities, but what I wanted, I don't want to, not talk about those, but I do want to speak about those smaller opportunities where a small group of people can get together and change their lives, and at the same time change the lives of a large group of people in Africa, and to get our students involved, because we are in a circumstance where we have students that have special access and resources based on the college that they're going to, that could use that access to create relationships with students like you, Alexis, and the college you're going to, and in reality. Not just speculation and conversation, but in reality, this time next year, when you're spending your summer back here with us on the radio, you can be talking about an actual business that you and other students on the same campus and on different campuses have been able to put together and start making your tuition monies on, and so that you can get your money so you'll be able to help Uncle Wallace later on in life.
No doubt.
No, I didn't mean to go straight there, but I couldn't help it.
Yeah, you did.
But this is why I think it's really serious, folks. I think it's really important for people who have experience, wisdom, age. I don't want to say old, but if you've been around the planet for a while and you've accumulated a little wisdom, part of that wisdom will tell you that your legs just don't move like they used to. So you need some energy. And so if you can find some energy, some energetic legs that are hooked up to a brain, not going to be a lot of brains like Alexis's brain, but there are a lot of young folks who are smart, energetic, and have enough good family raising to be able to let an old person talk to them without telling them, that old guy's crazy. We are crazy. We're so crazy. We're crazy enough to have been able to weave our way through life's whatever you want to call it to get to a certain age. And so you got to be crazy to do that. But we're also crazy enough to ignore what people say about the possible relationships between old folks and young folks. I believe that we can make things happen, especially if we do stay in our lane. I can't run out to the prom and try to keep up with you guys, but I can set up a seminar where we can use your brain and brains like Mr. Lilly's and Mr. Evans to come together and make a plan. Plan it because we're on the same planet.
Right.
We got to live together. We got to make these things work out, and it's going to make a lot of sense.
You should have Mr. Shelton on the show. Yeah,
Mr. Sheldon, definitely. We'll bring Mr. Sheldon on the show. But I want to encourage you to go to school, but I also want to encourage you to be an entrepreneur. I want you to be looking for opportunity. You don't have to quit school. If you're a basketball player and somebody comes and offers you $5 million to play basketball, go play basketball. Then come back to school in the summer. Matter of fact, you got enough money, you can bring a tutor. You can hire two people to follow you around. Don't ignore the opportunity because of your responsibility. Use your responsibility to take advantage of the opportunity. Yes, this is Empire Talks Back. We've had a great day, and I want to thank everybody for being here on your day after 4th of July, and I'm hoping all of us will eat healthy today to make up for what we didn't do yesterday. Eat a little vinegar or something to get that stuff out of you, and do a better job in the future. This is Empire Talks Back. I love you. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Thank you, Miss Alexis. Thank you, Jamal. Thank you, Leonard. Joe, Mood Master, we appreciate your 59 minutes in today. It's not easy. Talk to you later, folks. We'll see you next week under two circumstances. Under the if the good Lord's willing, and the creek don't rise. See you next week, folks. Love you.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
The women take center stage today. I'm Pete Fox. They'll get going north of the border at 7 Eastern in a rematch of the 2011 World Cup final as the Americans face off against the Japanese. Day off today on the grass at Wimbledon at the All England Lawn and Tennis Club. Couple of upsets yesterday. A big one on the women's side. The 23rd seed Jelena Jankovic upends the 2 seed Petra Kvitova. Jankovic.
I cannot stop smiling and I'm really, really happy. I don't know how to explain, but it's a really big win for me, especially playing on center court against a 2-time champion, Wimbledon champion.
On the men's side, the 23rd seed Ivo Karlovic takes care of the 13th seed Joe Willie Songa. Let's get to the day in baseball where the Yankees came away with a walk-off win.
2-0 is bunted toward the mound. The throw goes to first, and it was a low throw. Here comes the runner home. He is safe. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Yankees Radio Network from the night in baseball. The Cubs took care of the Marlins 7-2. Richard gets the win. Kcaa takes the loss. Couple of homers for Chris Bryant. He now has 12 on the season. Dodgers edged the Mets at Chavez Ravine 4-3. Zach Greinke gets the win. He's now 7-2. He lowered his league-leading ERA to 1.48. Action on the diamond as we speak.